Here's a promo code, Devox 2012. So, welcome. This is a quick talk. We call it the State of the Union talk, just for people who might see this on the internet later. State of Union is a summary talk given by the US President to Congress about what the status is of the project. And I'll be doing the same thing in this talk for the OpenShift project. Some things I'll go into detail on, and other things I'll just briefly touch. There's lots, and if I was going to go into the whole project, that would take me 4 hours, and there's other stuff I want to see, so sorry. Quick history lesson. Makara was a cloud startup beginning of 2010, and Red Hat snapped the company up, and then they merged all of that into OpenShift. And in May of this year, they open sourced it. So all the code that supports OpenShift, you can download it. All of it's on GitHub. Oh, that's not what we want. If you go on the internet and type in OpenShift, you're going to find lots of stuff. Just go look it up. And in June this year, an OpenShift Enterprise PaaS was announced. Out of curiosity, how many people out there are developers? Raise your hand. All right, that's what I expected. It's a DevOps. Any architects? Okay. Developers and architects, same people raise their hand. All right. Any managers? Whoa. He's sitting there, guys. All right. In any case, so OpenShift, you get 3 hammers. You get 3 things that you get to reform and use the way you want. You can throw them away and remake them. You just use them in OpenShift, and that's the way it works. And once you start this, you don't look back. Who here has heard of OpenShift before they saw this talk? Okay, a whole bunch of people. Who here has started using it? Right, okay. I'm assuming who here has started using it and it hasn't changed the way they develop things? Oh, one guy. All right. I'll see you later. So yeah, what is platform as a service? We can go on Wiki and look up things. But what does it mean for us? For the developers, it means, and managers take note, developers, we like our big screen, and we like our nice keyboard, and we like our mouse. And what we really hate is, for example, who here is a project lead and has had to deal with acceptance environments or production environments? Right, okay. And who here has had to say, well, as soon as the server gets up, as soon as the environment is available, we can fix it? And does it sound familiar at all? Right? It's annoying. This was me actually recently. And I thought, why? Why isn't it on OpenShift? That's what the platform as a service is for us as developers. I'm going to split this talk basically into 2 parts. We're going to go through a quick primer, how you use OpenShift, some of the tools that are available, how you create an application, how you deploy the application, and how you subsequently have lots of fun. There are actually, well, as I said, sign up. That way you can have fun with me. There are client tools for OpenShift, but there are actually 3 flavors of OpenShift. You have the client tools, which are basically command line. There's the web page or web designer, where you can use basically it's kind of a console on the web page to choose whatever you want, how to create the application, which gears you want, that kind of thing. And lastly, there's also Jboss Developer Studio as a wizard to create OpenShift applications. Anyone here using Jboss Developer Studio? All right, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyone here just do it in the command line? All right. First step, when you sign in, for those of you who have signed in, like I let you see, you choose a domain name. Well, a domain for your applications. And what that basically means is that when you create an application. There we go. This is your application name dash domain. And all your URLs for your applications in OpenShift start looking like that. What are those hammers? Those 3 hammers I was talking about? All of those things. Web cartridges is what they're called in OpenShift. We've currently got EAP6 and AS7. There's Tomcat as well, Zend. Who here goes home at night and plays with JavaScript or Ruby or Python or PHP or Perl? You guys get the picture. There's even a do-it-yourself node. It's basically a pure Linux installation with OpenShift underneath, and you can play around with all kinds of crazy stuff there. Jenkins, Hammer as well. On the same page, if you're seeing this page on your laptop and you scroll down, there are already some instant applications you can automatically deploy. There's the Java EE full profile, all kinds of things. Makes it easy to get up and running with OpenShift. The steps: create the application, choose the name, or choose the web cartridge, choose a name, and create the application. That's how easy it is. You then see your URL. That's the next thing that's literally shown to you on the web page. And then you get your code, right? Because there's something behind that application. Where's all that source code? You can clone the Git repository and pull it down and modify the code and commit, etc. One thing you do have to get used to is if you're not using Git yet, regardless of this presentation, you should learn how to use Git. But you do need to know how to use Git for OpenShift. Once you have your application up and running, you can extend it. You can add what are called embedded gears, which are things like a database or other things. I'll show you that in a second. You can also eventually scale them. And if you're tired of it, you think, well, what am I doing with this application? You just delete it. And you're limited to 3 at any one time for the free subscription. But you can make and delete as many as you want. Gears. That's the OpenShift term for these nodes. The web cartridges are all gears. But maybe you want a database backing your application. In that case, there are a couple databases up here you can see. I actually don't even know what the HA proxy, metrics, and GenMMS agent gears are, but they're available. You can have a Jenkins instance linked to your application so that is running continuous integration for you. Half gig of memory and a gig of storage per gear. Right, so what I just showed you was the web designer. You can also do it via the command line. If you're running on whatever laptop you're running on, you do have to remember you're going to have to enter your SSH keys for pushing and pulling and that kind of thing. And this is how you deploy. You pull your Git repo down, you modify your code, you add your code, you commit, and then you push. And it deploys. And what's actually happening here underwater is that in your OpenShift gear GitHub repository, there's a directory called .OpenShift action hooks. And those are mostly bash scripts, but they can be whatever runs on your OpenShift gear, if it's a Perl script or other types of scripts that are available on the OpenShift gear. And those will be run, those are Git hooks that are basically run at the right time. That's how easy it is. I was doing the demos last night, and I don't know if people are acquainted with the concept of the demo gods for soon, but the demos just worked. It's great. Yeah, it makes everything a lot easier. Oh yeah, Developer Studio. You can see it. There's an OpenShift wizard up there. You choose the wizard. You type in your account information, you choose your gears or your embedded gears, and that's it, and it's deployed. A couple of tips and tricks. If you're using the command line, it's helpful not to have to type in the password all the time. Hot deploy is available for gears. There are, that's already something that exists within AS7. But if you're using PHP or the Ruby application nodes, you can do that as well. And lastly, for those of you who are doing complicated stuff with Git and might have that in your config, you'll want to turn that off with some of the demos we do because it makes merging complicated. Wow, that was quick. I guess I'm just going to have to do demos for you guys. Right, Designer. Anyone here doing BPM work? There you go. All right, Designer is a graphical front end for designing BPMN2 processes. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create the app. I'm going to add another Git repo to pull down the code for that app. I'm going to pull that code down, and then I'm going to push it. And that's all I have to do to get Designer running in OpenShift. So, what's up? This is the front end. I'll do a demo with the front end as well, so you guys can see that. This is the demo, right? So, OpenShift. That's my workspace. Now, what did I want to do? Oh yeah, that. And in fact, I have a handy little cheat sheet here. By the way, has anyone already set up an application for themselves while I've been talking? Not yet. All right, you guys are a little lazy, but it's right after the lunch. I get it, post-lunch dip. Right, so Designer. Let's check if I am not cheating and maybe already have something running in OpenShift. So these are my apps. And nope, it's saying I don't got no apps. All right. That looks good. Nope. Cloud. It's not on your laptop anymore. Every advantage has its disadvantage. Is anyone already using OpenShift for their work? Not yet. Anyone know any good jokes? All right, this is a tech. Oh, this is being recorded. Oh boy, I'll be serious. Oh yeah, there we go. That's progress. This is our SSH key, because it's a node out there, and it wants to know if we can trust them. Ooh, come on, network. Woohoo! Now, let's go back and see. No, that's not what I wanted. If I go to My Applications now, there we go. This is an empty OpenShift gear at the moment. This is my Git repository. If I wanted to clone it, but I've already made it locally, RHC has done that for me. If I actually wanted to log in, I just have to SSH into that, and I'll do that in a second with the next demo. All right, so what's next? I've got an empty Git repo. All right, this is Git K. It's just that, nothing in there. So let's add. So Eric Chabel is a Jboss evangelist who does lots with OpenShift. And luckily enough, he couldn't be here. So I just had to give this talk at Devox for him. I'm really sorry he couldn't be here. Oh. Right, that's that. And let's pull. And this is the step where if you have auto setup rebase set to true, it's going to fail. So and what the there's a recursive is doing is it's basically saying where possible that repository that we're pulling down, that takes the lead in any kind of merge conflicts or anything like that. Nice. That's our commit. And now we're going to deploy. It's pushing back up to the Git repo in OpenShift. And what's cool is, I'll make this big so you guys can see as much as possible. So right, yeah, right, you know, Git's doing its work. And now those OpenShift hooks I mentioned, those guys are going to fire. Now those OpenShift hooks I mentioned, those guys are going to fire. Oh, there we go. So that's a Maven-based package. You see the Maven E-clean package, etc. It's showing us what's, I guess that's Maven that shows that. I'm not sure if it's Maven or OpenShift that shows those environments, those variables. Right, we're building. Maven is downloading the internet the way it always does. Anyone here love and hate Maven? Right? So I guess the post deploy is running. You actually see it right there. These are empty. Build is an empty script. I can show you that in a second. And deploy is a fairly simple script. Well, I guess when you pull out an empty OpenShift gear, those scripts are all, they're there, but they're bash scripts that don't do anything. So we've deployed. So what does that actually mean? I just showed you a bunch of code, and you guys nodded and said, OK, cool. But what does that actually mean? Right, so here's my, here's my editor. OK, this is running now. Ooh, the demo gods. They really got me, didn't they? Wow, that's awesome. Nope. That's cool, though, because what I can do is I can go back here. I can do, there are two ways I can look at this. I can do RHC app tail to look at the logs. See maybe editors complaining about something I didn't know about. All right, it doesn't like that. So you know what? Let's SSH to the actual OpenShift node and see if we can take a look around. This is the node this is our editor node that we just created. You can see that in the prompt. And here's our AS7 log that's running. In fact, let's make that a little prettier. That's all running up. That's good. It looks pretty good. There was a weird error about MySQL DB, but we don't need that in this. So that shouldn't be a problem. So why don't we do the following then? Why don't we restart our... Oh, that's right. I need to tell them which one. RHC, by the way, is a Ruby gem. So you can install it everywhere. I think I showed you guys, I skipped that slide pretty quickly. Right, so as long as you can run, as long as you can have Ruby on your machine, you can run RHC. And the same applies for Git, actually. It's restarted, and now I will pray to the demo gods and see and hope that they take pity on me. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Does anyone feel, can I get a drum roll? No? There we go. This is Designer in the cloud. If you haven't seen this, this is a great little tool for making BPMN2 processes. That's that. Next demo. All right. Why don't we do this one via the web designer, and the next one we'll do via Dev Studio. So next demo, Switchyard. We could do the Switchyard demo, but let's skip that because this was the demo that was purposely meant to fail because it doesn't work. Switchyard, if any of you are doing working with ESBs, Switchyard is not an ESB. It's Switchyard is called a lightweight service delivery framework, and its goal is to make the ESB transparent, to make you write services without having to deal with the ESB. But unfortunately, this demo doesn't work the way it should, so we're going to skip it for the moment. Ceylon. Anyone heard of Ceylon? Great. Right, so Ceylon runs on OpenShift. And we're going to make a real, I'm going to run this demo, and it's a real simple demo that just does a hello world. So I was going to do that. You guys wanted me to do it in the web designer, or I decided that for you, but same difference. So add an application. What do we want? We want an AS7 instance. Ooh. So I want this one. Select. All right, cool. Let's call it Ceylon. Create the application. Those are the 3 steps I showed you guys earlier. And the bad thing about this is with the command line, you can of course see a little bit more, not that much more. What's that word? It's setting up the DNS information. It's creating the Git repo. It's allocating a node, of course. And it's taking a very long time. Well, relatively, right? Time speeds up when you're on the stage. And it's done. I got to stop talking as much. what I was talking about. There's your URL. And there's our Git repo. And that's exactly what we need. So let's go to our command line. And I'm literally just going to copy and paste. Yes. Done. That was quick. Right. Ceylon, where are you? Right, so this is the Eric's GitHub repo that I want to use. Cool. And now we do the git pull s recursive blah, blah, blah. And we get the merge. Bam. And just to give you a quick picture, this is all the work that was done on the GitHub repo for Ceylon, and it was just merged into this local repo. And then we deploy. And what do we do to deploy? We do git push. And I always do an origin master because it's neater that way. You have to excuse me for a second. Sorry. Same thing, OpenShift build hooks. And what we can also do is maybe I can show you guys a little bit about, well, that's Ceylon stuff. You guys can check out the demo at home or afterwards. There's some other stuff I can talk about while we're waiting. OpenShift, of course, you can run it. You can use it the way I'm showing you. But there's also, you can run that privately on your own laptop. You can download, it's called the Live CD. It runs on VirtualBox, which I believe runs on both Macintosh and Linux. Apparently also runs on Virt Manager for Linux. And are there any DevOps in the audience? A couple. Cool. Do any of the DevOps know what AMIs are? Yeah? All right. So if you have questions about what the AMIs are, go ask him. What I know, AMI is an automatic machine instance, I believe, and it's something that runs on EC2, but he knows more stuff. And you can go make that with the OpenShift source code and do that stuff. Let's go back and see what's happened with our Ceylon stuff. Ah, it's still running. That's kind of too bad. In that case, why don't we start a second demo? Right. Oh, habit. Right. So, oh yeah, we were going to do it with Dev Studio. There we go. OpenShift application. And our next, what was our next? What was our next? Redmine. So for those of you, do I see a question?
What would happen if we have cloned the upstream code and then pushed to OpenShift?
If you have, say that again?
Cloned the
Yeah.
upstream code,
Yeah.
and then pushed it to OpenShift.
Okay, so you're taking a clone that doesn't have an OpenShift base, and you just push it to OpenShift. So the only way you can get that Git repository in the first place is you have to create a node. And when you create that node, or that gear actually, that automatically makes a Git repository. So then you have to pull that repository down no matter what, and that already contains your .OpenShift and all the directories that are standard in OpenShift. And then you can do whatever you want with that repository and add whatever code. And whether or not it runs is obviously going to depend on the code. Does that make sense? Any other questions? All right. Actually, I like questions. You like red or black? There we go. Right. let's take a quick look at the Ceylon stuff. Wow, that's taken forever. All right. In that case, let's look at something we can run in Dev Studio. Cape Dwarf. Cool little project. Anyone here heard of Cape Dwarf? This is perfect for OpenShift. Who has used Google App Engine? Right. So Cape Dwarf replicates the Google App Engine API so that you can take your project that would run on Google App Engine, wrap it with Cape Dwarf, and then run it locally on a Jboss AS7 instance. And what you could, of course, also do, because Jboss AS7 is also on OpenShift, is you can then make an AS7 gear in OpenShift, wrap your Google App Engine project in Cape Dwarf, and run it there. So this is a little demo that shows that. And let's do that with Dev Studio. So logging in. Hopefully, right, so secure storage. And this is the screen I showed you guys earlier in the slides. You can actually, to answer the question before, you can use, I guess with the Dev Studio, you can already take an existing Git repo that you have and then merge your OpenShift repo into that. But this is a new application. What did we want? We want an AS7 instance. Looks good. And I only have small, so that's that. And, well, oh yeah, you want me to use workspace Git. Oh, awesome. That's weird. What's up? Let's try it again. Okay. You don't like me at all. Let's see if this works. Let's call it Capey. Nope. Awesome. Okay, that's too bad. There is some kind of network problem, it looks like. We'll do that via the command line. If the command line has finished. Wow. All right, so I'm just going to run this in the background. And let's do another one here. Create. Oh. KB. There we go. Right, because you did manage to succeed even though you threw an error. All right, that's cool. What do we have? You're probably here. No, you didn't hear. All right, well, then let's pull down this Git repo. Nope. This is my Git repo. No, in that case, Git clone paste. Cloning. Let's add the repo as a, let's go into KP, git remote adds. Oh, I had a little, what do we got? Not what I wanted. That's what I want. Awesome. No more questions?
How different are you from using the Amazon EC2?
That's a good question.
Because I'm using Amazon EC2 heavily,
Okay.
and we use a lot of open source technology, so
Okay.
I want to try this one. So,
Yeah.
so I had to explain to my boss. So
Yeah.
why should we try OpenShift? What is the good answer that you can give?
Are you a reporter by any chance?
No.
All right. Just double checking. It's a good question. I think I've looked at EC2 a little bit. I haven't used it a lot. You'll have more experience with it. What amazes me every time is how easy this is to use. And also how with EC2, I'm pretty sure you get a kind of a blank slate and you have to set up the rest on it, right? I don't know whether you're doing Ruby or Java or whatever, but the server's there. And there's a lot of, I'll show you with embedded gears. If you have all that configuration for your server, for your Mongo or MySQL, that's all just set in an environmental variable that you can just use to automatically configure. So deploying and modifying without having to deal, it's like what I said, without having to deal with the stack. Because with I'm not sure about EC2, I don't have a lot of experience with it.
Maybe the same question for Heroku. It runs on Amazon, so
Yeah.
it looks fairly the same.
Okay.
Big difference.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I've looked at Heroku. I think, yeah, I'm not gonna trip over. It's a good question, and I would be surprised. Yeah, something for me to look up for the next time. The nice thing about OpenShift, and I can show you that real quickly. See those dates? Those are release dates. I don't know how many of you are involved with any sort of, actually with any software project. I don't really have to say anything more than those release dates. It's every 3 or 4 weeks, and it just comes out, and they keep building, and they're on time, and it works. And that, more than anything else, says a lot to me about the status of the project. They keep on adding more servers due to community demand. Tomcat was added because of community demand. I like Scala. There's a community request for akka support. And if enough votes get in, then it will come. And that's, I think, a little bit of the difference between Heroku and OpenShift in that regard. With regards to the other qualities and ease of setup, I can't say anything. You know more than I do, or you will soon, hopefully. Cape Dwarf. All right. Wow. The demo gods are not liking me today. That's really too bad. I'll show you what else I had planned. Redmine, for those of you who do Ruby on Rails work. Redmine is a project management software, a lot like Jira. Different, also open source as far as I know. Excuse me. And this was really cool when I set this up. This was the OpenShift experience for me. I just kind of did this and bam, it worked. But you have your own little project management node for projects and for issues and all of that stuff. Cape Dwarf, I explained to all of you guys. For those of you who are doing JavaScript at night or for your daily job, Node. There's a Node gear. This demo is just a really simple demo that shows you what your IP address is. But I've used this a little bit. I'm looking forward to using the Node gears a lot more. Hey! Oh, sweet. So, let's see if we actually did anything. That was a push. All right. There we go. Sweet. And why don't we take a quick look at the code? So let's add a new project. KP. And it's setting up. There we go. And it's a Maven project, so that's great. So let's convert to a Maven project. Let's see what's going on. All right. Awesome. And there's not even that much here, it looks like. So web app. Right, okay. That's all it is, really. Yeah, it's a pity. In the Switchyard one, there's some interesting code, but sure. All right, so this is basically a really simple JSP web app, nothing more than that. I wish I'd known that. The do-it-yourself, this I definitely want to do quickly. This is cool because all it is a simple jar that runs a really simple HTTP server. So it's the HTTP server class. So let's see if I have just enough time to do that. All right. So. Right. Create do it yourself. Right. Oh yeah. -tdiy-1.1. Oh, that's right. I reached my gear limit. Also good to see. All right. I'm tired of my 3 hammers. I got to throw away one. And Ceylon, you, or KP, I saw you. You were nice, but you know what? I don't need you anymore. Yeah, I want to delete it. Let's see if I have. Oh, all right. Let's try that again. Are there other questions? Can you say that again? Yeah, I was looking at that last night, I believe. There's some, can't remember the exact details, but there are examples of the Play framework working in OpenShift. So I'm not sure what the full support story is there, but you can get it working in OpenShift, and from what I saw, it wasn't that hard. That's a good question. Yeah. Red or black? Red, and you? All right, there we go. They're going fast, guys. And let's see how good my throwing arm is. Sure. Let's see another question. Yeah, the red t-shirts are up. I get it. Right. Oh, come on. You can do it, OpenShift. Awesome. Right, experimental cartridge. Way to try all kinds of different stuff. What was my demo? Do it yourself. That's cool. So let's add our repository. Let's paste it. Oh, yeah. That's because I need to be in the repository itself, and I don't want to be in Git. I want to be in do it yourself. So let's paste. Let's pull. Let's commit. And actually, you know what? Let's modify this. Hello, Devox. And Thank you. What are you guys? What's your name? You? T? S-Y? A-I-N. All right, that's that. Let's get log. Oh yeah, because I have to, that's not modified, so I'm going to add that. I'm going to commit that. All right, that's that. Yeah, I'm done. I want to deploy. And while that's deploying, I can show you what's actually deploying. Do it yourself. So we have our HTML directory. We've got our bin. That's just some. These are actually the classes that are going to be used here. In our, it's apparently a test Ruby server, and yeah. So I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure that what actually runs is here. There's of course also some stuff in the .OpenShift action hooks that does all the building and the deploying and gets it working. And it's deployed. So it's a simple web server, so it doesn't do index, doesn't do redirection. There's my web server. And it's not going to show anything until I do. There we go. All right, I got 9 minutes left. So I'll wrap up. Yeah, I'll wrap up. It's too bad I didn't have time to do that, but that's for next day, for the next time. I talked about the local pass. Talked about release date, status of the project. Info. It's pretty simple. There's lots of info. There's lots of documentation. I'm really impressed with that. Documentation is something that we should all write, and we say we should all write, and I don't write it as much as I should. But sure, that's the way it is. And OpenShift documents lots. It's really great. Who was totally confused? Who didn't get anything? Cool, I don't see any hands. I have t-shirts here, and I have a really cool USB beer opener thing. No questions? None?
Can we use this for production?
Yes.
Only for play?
OpenShift is supported as well by Red Hat. That's the commercial side. Oh yeah, that's this guy over here. This guy with the red hat. If you want to use it for production, come talk to him. We'll be around for a little bit afterwards, maybe outside afterwards. So if you have questions about production or commercial support, anything like that, he has the red hat on, go talk to him. Questions for in 5 minutes, and then he can answer all of that for you. Sorry. I saw another question in the middle.
Yeah, but my question was similar to his. I was wondering, how could you install multiple instances of the same application?
Are you talking about clustering, or are you talking about just...
They would share nothing. So
They don't share it? Well, that's it's actually... What I would do in that case is you make multiple nodes, as many as you want, and then you have one central Git repository for your application. And then you just push your central Git repository to all the Git repositories for those OpenShift gears, and that way you keep them all the same. They will all get a different name. You can also scale. You can also, there's clustering built in. I only have small. I don't know if you saw that with Dev Studio, but there's medium and large, and those are scaling options, so then you have clustering. But you're talking about several different applications on different gears. And in that case, they all have the Git repo, and you just have to sync the Git repos. Sure. In that case, I'm going to say, get the heck out. Go enjoy the rest of DevOps. Thank you very much for coming. If you have questions or whatever, I'll be here. Rule will be here. And have a great week. Thank you.